Welcome back, Kaiju fans. Today we're going to be discussing the possibility of Godzilla dying in 2020 in Godzilla vs. Kong, or really at any point in the Monsterverse. So the idea of this has arisen in the mind of certain people because of the fact of the director Adam Wingard stating that Godzilla vs. Kong 2020 will have a definitive winner at the end of it. And usually in kaiju movies, when you have a definitive winner in a battle between two monsters, usually one of them ends up basically dead. So the possibility has arisen that what if this means potentially Godzilla could die because Adam Wingard stated that he wants you to feel empathy and sadness at the end of this movie for one or two of the monsters, and that you have to take into consideration that Godzilla very well could lose. And, well, though this makes sense and it is a possibility that Godzilla could die, the honest answer is that no, there is absolutely no way that Godzilla can or will or possibly could die in 2020 in Godzilla vs. Kong. And this is not because of Kong not being able to defeat him in a battle or another kaiju showing up and destroying him. It's the fact that the licensing agreement between Toho and Legendary specifically states that at no point during the Monsterverse Godzilla can die, which also diminishes the popular fan theory that there are two Godzillas in the Monsterverse, and one of them, our main Godzilla, could die at some point and the other one could show up and replace him. That's also not a possibility at this point in time, because in the licensing agreement, Legendary has to obey the rule that Godzilla cannot die. But this does not mean that Kong can die, because nowhere is there a licensing agreement for Kong because it's such an old property. So Kong really could die at any point, and you have to take into consideration also that Kong is a monster born to die. That's his trademark thing, is that he's always defeated fighting. He goes down swinging to the end, but he does lose majority of the time. Obviously this wasn't the case in the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, where the movie ended in a draw, where King Kong just ended up swimming out to sea and Godzilla got buried, later on being unearthed for Godzilla vs. Mothra. So that possibility doesn't exist either anymore, considering that the director also wants there to be a definitive ending. There will be no stalemate, there won't be a tie, none of that is a possibility. So it almost could potentially be leaning more towards the fact that if a kaiju is going to die in this movie, which is the ultimate defeat, it's going to be Kong, because Godzilla legally cannot die in the Monsterverse contract through 2020. Obviously this could change if it gets relicensed for future Monsterverse movies afterwards, if Toho changed their mind, but I really don't think Toho is going to let their prized possession and their cash cow perish at any point in a foreign franchise. I'm pretty sure Toho is just going to save that exclusivity to themselves, that at any point if Godzilla is going to die, it's going to be on their terms in one of their movies, like Gojira or Burning Godzilla for Godzilla vs. Destroyer, anything like that. Now, since Godzilla can't technically die in this universe, it doesn't mean that by the end of Godzilla vs. Kong he can't be severely wounded, damaged, or on the verge of death, as long as they don't technically show him perish on screen. That would fall into that contract. I don't think they're going to leave the movie hanging where you assumed he's dead, but he could potentially be very hurt by the end of the movie if somehow Kong does manage to defeat him, or one of the other confirmed kaiju that we don't necessarily know who they are, or what kaiju they're going to be, or how powerful they're going to be. One of them ends up dealing some major damage to him at some point during the movie, and that severely affects him later on. That's always a possibility too. Godzilla could get defeated in this movie, but there's no way he can die. Kong can be defeated, but Kong can die. So it's kind of like a balancing issue there, where you know one monster has the ability to die, but you can't kill the other one if you don't want to get sued and not have your movie be published, because that would be a bad idea if you want to put all this money into a film and never be able to publish it because you messed up one of the few rules you had. And also because of this licensing agreement, it is also possible that since Godzilla cannot die at the end of this movie, that it is very well likely that the Monsterverse with Godzilla will continue post-2020. And we're unsure about Kong at this point, because if Kong dies, then, well, he's the last of his kind, so that would be the end of the Kong reign for the Monsterverse, unless somehow they can introduce more Kong species into the universe, maybe on a different island. Obviously that would be a stretch and be hard to explain in another non-solo film, so if Kong does die and have the ultimate defeat, then that would in fact be the end of the Kong species that we know of on the planet, which would be considerable to see happen. That's going to wrap up this video for today, guys. Let me know what you think about Kong possibly dying in the movie, and if you think it's fair or not for Toho to lay down the law saying that there's no way that Godzilla can die in this universe. Would you have liked to have seen Godzilla be defeated at some point to the possibility of him dying and being replaced by another kaiju or Godzilla species himself? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video.